Hey guys, it's Stacy with Chapter 6 and I forgot my computer. Today I'm here with another book review. This one is Over, Crime and Punishment by Fodor. Everyone has tried to tell me how to say this name correctly, but I cannot say it right, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you I'm butchering it now. Fodor Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky? Maybe. This is part of the Barnes & Noble leather-bound classic collection, which I'm trying to collect them all. It is 551 pages, so it's a big one. Oh my gosh. This book took me forever to get through. Forever. Our main character's name is Rhoda. I think I'm saying his name correctly, but I'll get into that later on in the review, the whole name thing. But he is a student at a university, and one day, I really don't fully understand what happens to him. But there is this older lady who's kind of like a pawnbroker for the neighborhood. What you do is you go in and you bring her like your items like jewelry, anything that's worth value, and you go and you pawn it off to her and she gives you a sum of money. You can then go and get it back, but I think she charges like an outrageous amount of money. But anyways, well, one day he decides that he needs the money because he's dropped out of university. He doesn't have a job. There's things going on with his family and his sister that he kind of wants to prevent, so he wants to be able to provide for them. I think that's what he's thinking. And he decides to murder the old lady and get her money because he figures that not only does she have a bunch of trinkets and jewelry and valuables laying around, but she also has a bunch of money. So he then does that, and he has to deal with the consequences that come with that. That's all I'm going to tell you on the story. My thoughts on the book is that this just was not for me. I didn't like it. This time period, in this area, in this culture, everybody has three names. They have their full, I guess, given Christian name, you would call it. Then they have the shorter version of that name, and then they kind of have like their nickname. Like the name I gave you is like his shortened nickname. And I'm thinking that the more acquainted you are with them, the more personal the name will get. Which is a really nice concept if you think about it. Like, you can kind of tell, ooh, I just dropped that big old book on my computer. You can kind of tell the relationships the characters have between one another by what name they use for one another. But for a reader, it's very difficult, especially at the very beginning, to keep track of all these characters. Because some of the names are very similar to one another, and sometimes the nickname is not really close to the full name. So it took me a while to try to figure out who was what character, and as a reader that's a little frustrating. That's the majority of the book, what I was doing, like, okay, who is this person, what nickname are they using? It was very kind of difficult and stressful as the reader to try to keep track of that. So I'm getting all my dislikes done first. Like I was saying in the synopsis, like I really didn't know where his head was at and what was going on and the reasoning behind everything, because our main character is a little crazy. And when I say a little crazy, I mean a lot crazy. Like, he gets a sickness, and I don't know if that sickness has to do with his mental capacity, but he loses his mind. He has many jumbled, random thoughts that jump around everywhere, and to be quite honest, being in the head of someone who's losing their mind gave me a headache. Like, every time I picked this book up, I was getting the worst headache ever, because trying to keep track of all the names, and him when he would go into like his feverish haze to where you really didn't understand what was going on, it got annoying. I don't like being in the head of a psycho person. I hope that I never go psycho, because that would suck, thinking like that all the time, and I just really didn't like it, and I didn't really understand his motives behind his actions and things like that, because I just didn't understand his thought process very well. It's not easy to understand a crazy person. My problem with this is that I don't feel like this is a bad story. I feel like there was a lot of good things that happened as well. I really like the love story that's in it. It's a very little love story. It happens very briefly. I do like how there's other characters who have their cross to bear within the story. So like the Crime and Punishment title doesn't just apply to the main character. It applies to other characters as well. And I really did like that. But I think that this book is just needed to be edited more. Like, it's very slow. It's very drawn out. It's a lot with his crazy thoughts going around, and I feel like whole chunks of the book didn't even really need to be in there. So I feel like if it was edited better and there was more chunks taken out here and there, it would have been a better flow. Overall, I didn't like the book. I think it was, it put me in a huge reading slump because between the headaches, I just didn't want to pick it back up. More for people who like more philosophical reads, kind of in the nature of The Catcher in the Rye type of audience would like this book. It's more character driven than plot driven. The plot is very slow. The synopsis I gave you at the beginning is basically the main meat of the plot. Not much happens after that. So yeah, just not my type of read. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the to read or not to read. Oh my god, it's just stifling in here already. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of being hot. I don't know where you live or what's going on in your neck of the woods, but here in Ohio, in the Ohio Valley, it is burning up and the air is stagnant and it's not moving. It's just sitting in the valley and it's just hot all the time. I'm breaking out so bad just because every day I'm constantly sweating. I've lost a lot of water weight. Dylan's in football right now and I sit out in this hot sun with him. Football practice for I think 8 hours a week. I wear black scrubs during the week for my school and I drive around in these black scrubs with no air conditioning in my car. I'm just hot all the time. I just need to like lay in a bed of ice for like a week to finally cool down. Anyways, sorry about my little tangent. It's just getting hot in here. Time to play to read or not to read. I'm pretty sure that this to read or not to read is spoiler free. Let's get into it. This is a double question again. Did you read Catcher in the Rye? And if you did you like it? If you did not read Catcher in the Rye, then just put no. Do you like character-driven books? Are you in a good reading streak? Do you like classics? And question 5, do you enjoy slow-paced books? I got 2 yeses, 3 no's. So I hope you enjoyed this review over Crime and Punishment. Again, it's just not my type of book. I can see why a lot of people like it. I think it got 4.5 stars on Goodreads, but I can see why a lot of people like it. It's more of a philosophical kind of read, but it was just not my type of read. So yeah guys, and thanks for watching my review. Bye guys.